Hello and welcome to Soundout's Heroes of the Grid Showcase. This is the series chronicling all the characters found within the Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid tabletop game by Renegade Studios. I want to go into every ranger and villain within every expansion box and tell all of you my personal experiences as well as the strategies I think is best when using these characters. So without further ado, let's begin.
We'll come running to your side. We will protect you from your frights. All of us are on your side. We'll take them.
So in episode 1, we'll be taking a look at the base game for Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid, which includes the mighty Morphin Rangers as well as some of their most iconic bad guys. So first thing out of the box is something you're going to need for all of your games here and for the future. One of the reasons most of the expansions say requires Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid to play is because of this, the Power Board. Now, seemingly, if you didn't have the Power Board but you had enough pieces to make your own game out of expansions, certainly you could just kind of make your own or just, estimate this. But this is officially what you use to track your progress in the game. This is a very nice, heavy it's a card stock actually, it's kind of a cardboard. Nice logo on the back, totally could have been blank, but extra step there. So very nice. You got artwork of the 5 Zords, and of course the spot for the Megazord deck. This is essentially just kind of your initial piece to track your progress, because as you level up on the power level, you get Zord cards. And there's spots for foot soldiers and the shared energy pool. So it's kind of a neat little tracker. It's not necessarily essential if you just keep track of, I defeated 6 of these and then I can get a Zord. But it is something that is quite necessary for most gameplay. So outside of the power board, which doesn't appear in any expansions, the other thing that doesn't appear is tokens. Now the tokens do come with plastic bags. They are on a cardboard sheet, you punch them out, and then they come with plastic bags you can put them in. I've opted to go with a very fancy token cup with lid. I got this from Papa Murphy's Pizza because it holds the cream cheese for their cinnamon wheel, and so I just got a few of these from getting cinnamon wheels, and they asked for an extra, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll give you one. So these are really nice actually, because I found they're really easy to just kind of prop up like this. But of course, in the sake of a video, we're just going to dump them out. So first up, you get 4 panic tokens. These 4 panic tokens are for the locations. When a certain amount of putties or foot soldiers show up to a location, it becomes panic. When a monster shows up, panicked. You don't want all 4 locations panicked because that will result in a losing game. We also have the power level marker. This goes on the power board to track what level you're at. We have the lead ranger token, which is very simple design here, but this designates which ranger is the lead ranger in a battle. And we have the Megazord token for when you summon the Megazord and you're picking which location to use its ability at. Very nice artwork on here, by the way. And then you also get to 12 action tokens. The action tokens are pretty nice. I really like the way these are designed because when you use an action in the game, you flip a tile over, now it's deactivated. So you gotta get that idea of there's the action's taken, now it's gone. So these are pretty cool. There's 12 of them in total for different play varieties. You also get 15 energy tokens. The 15 energy tokens are, little energy. One side says SCGPR, the other side just blank. So you got that. Those are pretty much used for everything, attacks, damage, other things. And then of course, speaking of damage, here's 20 damage tokens. These are all, just to indicate one hit. So you got that going on, but this is kind of like your base token set. There's some of this stuff like this that you can upgrade with other sets, but for the most part, you're not going to get action tokens or damage tokens or panic tokens from other expansions at this time. So with all the Phase 1 stuff, this is how you get that. This and the power board, kind of the biggest reason to have the base game. So keep that in mind for your playthroughs. But now that we've gone through the contents of what's in the box, let's get into the specifics with the Rangers.
It's Morphin time!
So let's take a look at the Ranger miniatures. These are the 5 characters you can play as in the base game, which being Mighty Morphin Red, Black, Blue, Pink, and Yellow. This is, the 5 main Rangers of Mighty Morphin, so it makes sense that they're in the base game. They are the first team. These are actually really large for miniatures. Normal miniature stuff is a lot smaller, probably around yay big. These are really big and chunky. I mean, here's it next to like a Bandai of America Ranger key, which, these things aren't like gigantic, but the fact that these are pretty substantial, like they're pretty beefy. And some of the monsters get really big. which also makes them easier to paint for those of you that do wish to paint them. For me, I haven't taken the plunge yet. Want to do some videos first, of course. Got to show it in its base form. But painting this shouldn't be too bad since the Ranger color is already there. You could also just start fresh with white. There's all kinds of stuff I'm painting, and I have no experience painting miniatures. But I do have experience in figurines of characters, and these are really nice. The sculpting's really good. I think a lot of the sculpting does get lost in the bright plastic color, but I do really like this because this means you can know which color ranger you have and which one you're playing as without having to know what they look like. That's a big deal in casual play. Alright, we looked at red enough. Because that way, if you have friends over who don't know the series as well, they're not looking at, who's the guy with the axe? What color ranger is he? You can kind of go with, yeah, that's the Black Ranger because it's the black figure. They can't be painted officially, I think, not only for budgeting because the cost of this would go up even higher. With budgeting aside, there was a thing about the license with Hasbro making Power Rangers products, which I think also would have applied to Bandai if this was still under Saban, is that if they painted them, they become toys. If they're unpainted, they are game pieces. And they're still really nice game pieces, so this is a nice little painting project for those who want to look at it. So I really do like these. I think they look great. The plastic quality is super durable as well. Like these, there's a little bit of flex to the feet where they're plugged in. I think they can. I think they're molded to the bases. Like these come pre-built. But I have seen some people swap the bases out for other stuff. See the other option. Look at the bottom. So these are really nice. I really like the style of them. They seem to be inspired by the Dan Mora art that is all over the packaging and cards, which is pretty nice. And yeah, I really do like these. I like the way the Pink Ranger looks especially. I think her pose is quite good. The way they did the fabric on the skirt is really nice as well. Just the intricate details. Like, look at this. They got like the little details of the bow, little details of the arrow, and the helmet's better proportioned than the Lightning Collection figure. Like, it's really impressive stuff. Especially since I believe this is the first miniature-based game from Renegade. I know they've done some minis for other games that they've done, but I think this is the first one to do widespread miniatures, especially to this level. I do like the look of the Yellow Ranger. She does have a female sculpt, but it is not the same as Pink, so it is a little stockier. So you kind of get that blend of the Japanese footage, US footage. So that's the 5 Rangers. Those are pretty much our main characters. But of course, they have combat decks.
Tyrannosaurus!
Alright, first Ranger up, Jason Lee Scott, Mighty Morphin Red. Every Ranger comes with a character card. These are tarot size cards for those wondering, while the Ranger combat cards are standard size. So keep that in mind if you're looking for sleeves. Every Ranger has an effect. Jason's is leadership. Once per battle, a Ranger of your choice may re-roll any number of dice during an attack. Super helpful for other teammates, just being able to do that. I think the effect can also apply to yourself. It says say a Ranger of your choice. It does not say another Ranger, so, work with that how you wish. Back of the character cards, by the way, has the main 5 Mighty Morphin Rangers, looking all slick and cool. Once you get your Zord card, after defeating enough foot soldiers, you get the Tyrannosaurus. Now the Tyrannosaurus' effect, exhaust this card before a Ranger performs an attack, add 2 dice to that attack. The word exhaust means that it takes the card from here to here. Just using it is exhausting it, and that means it's done for the round, but before an attack, to add 2 dice can be super duper handy in a lot of situations. Megazord on the back of all the Zord cards, by the way. So let's take a look at his cards. Blade Blaster, this is a card that all 5 Mighty Morphin Rangers have. It's an X amount of energy cost. It's a special attack. This attack deals the amount of damage equal to the amount of energy spent to play this card. You may divide this damage among any number of targets. So for example, if you throw 3 energy on it, you get 3 damage, put wherever you want. If you get, special attack, you can do something special where you have all the Rangers donate their energy, go into the shared pool. I did a 12 damage attack with a huge group of 6 once, just with 1 Blade Blaster card. So keep that in mind. That's something kept special to keep around, especially for bosses. He has 2 of Team Tactics, a 0 energy cost that allows to gain 1 energy, added to the shared pool. Another Ranger of your choice may immediately play another card. Play 1 card. Another Ranger specifically means you can't use this to play 2 Jason cards. It has to be another Ranger. Lead the charge, 0 energy cost, 2 dice attack. Next time any Ranger performs an attack during this battle, add 1 die to that attack. So if he does this one, 2 dice. Next turn, Zach has a 4 dice attack. Well, now it's just a 5 dice because Jason adds to that. So that's pretty cool. That's one of those cards to keep not necessarily in your discard, but above it, so that effect still applies. Block, 0 energy cost. It's a reaction. Reactions happen when certain actions happen. So play this card when any ranger suffers damage to reduce that damage by 3. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Just reduces damage. Sometimes you can even negate damage completely that way. 1 energy cost or Tyranno Slash. This is only an energy cost basic attack. 3 dice. You may reroll any number of dice during this attack. So if something doesn't go your way, definitely have the option to re-roll it. Plus that. So if you wanted to chain those, totally can. 2 of those in the deck, pretty nice. And his super card, 3 energy cost, Power Sword, 5 dice. The next time any ranger performs an attack during this battle, add 2 dice to that attack. That's pretty good. Again, next time any ranger. So it could be Jason, it could be somebody else. So pretty cool stuff. A lot of his deck plays off of just general helping out his other rangers and maybe helping himself every once in a while.
Mastodon!
Next up, we have Zach Taylor, the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger. Zach's deck is designed to add dice to attacks at different conditions. A lot of his cards will become stronger with cards in his discard and hand. Many of his attacks allow for rollover damage to other enemy cards. That's basically my summary of his cards, and that pretty much covers it. A lot of Zach's stuff is to get extra damage and get extra different conditions and stuff. First up, here's his character card, Hip Hop Keto. Once per battle after you defeat an enemy with an attack, you may deal 1 damage to another enemy card adjacent to your target. Pretty handy effect overall. Mostly it's just it defeats an enemy, rolls over. And then his Zord, Mastodon, exhausts this card to immediately remove 1 foot soldier figure from any location and place it on the experience track. This is the most helpful Zord card, I think, especially in lower player count fights when you're having trouble with too many foot soldiers. You can essentially unpanic a location pretty quickly by just instantly removing a foot soldier. So keep that in mind. That thing is super handy. You can just only use it once per round. First up, we got Blade Blaster. Same as usual. Next card, Smooth Moves. This allows him to reduce the damage of a ranger and gain energy to the pool. Pretty nice. Plus it's 2 shields with a 0 energy cost. Pretty nice overall. 0, Mammoth Slam, 2 dice attack. And if there's 4 more cards in the discard pile, add 1 dice. So a lot of that conditioning dice adding to get it up to 3. Here we have Sweeping Strike. Only costs 1 energy, but it's a 2 dice attack. And you get to deal 1 additional damage to an enemy card adjacent to it. Very nice card to have, plus good to keep in the deck with a 3 shield. Very good defense on Zach overall. Reckless Blow, 1 energy, 2 dice. Before rolling, you may discard the top card of your deck and add 2 dice to this attack. Really handy, plus sometimes you don't even need the top card if you're running with a very strong deck, which means you got a lot of health. Definitely go for that. And also Power Axe is his super, as I call him. 3 energy, 3 dice. After rolling, choose 2 dice and deal that much damage to each enemy card adjacent to the target. So if you're attacking a card in the middle, and there's a card to the left, and a card to the right, and you roll 3, and say it's 3 hits, so you roll 3 dice attack, 3 hits, you can deal 3 to this, 2 to this, and 2 to this. So you got that option going on there. So that's actually a really good card for just destroying enemies as quick as possible. So overall, Zach has a lot of conditional stuff, a lot of cool stuff that does happen, and I gotta say that he's one of my favorite characters to play as for that reason. Just getting to roll more dice and doing more damage a lot quicker, it's really fun stuff.
Triceratops!
Next up is Billy Cranston, the Mighty Morphin Blue Ranger. Billy's deck is built to be controlled. Many of his cards allow for replacing cards in the deck order to help take damage. Many of his attacks have effects that will trigger when used for defense. So this is actually kind of interesting, is that Billy is not only a great support unit, like you'd expect, but he's also kind of a tank because he can just kind of recycle some cards in, and has a lot of damage effect cards, which we'll get into in a second. Real quick, his character effect, Strategize. Once per battle, a ranger of your choice may draw 1 card and then place 1 card from the hand back on the top of their deck. This is really good if you have a card in your hand that's got 3 shields and you know something bad's coming up. Flip that over, get that on the top of the deck so you're ready for the damage. Triceratops, Mighty Morphin Blue. Exhaust this card to allow any ranger to choose 2 cards from their discard pile and return them to the top of their deck in any order. Same kind of idea, and this also allows for any ranger, same with his effect, So it does help with the teamwork aspect of it. So it's pretty nice. Specialty cards, we've got Blade Blaster, which is the same as all the others. So we can just skip over that. Knowledge is power. Maneuvers. Maneuvers are played in place of attacks, but they do have abilities that just aren't directly damage abilities. Gain 1 energy. A ranger of your choice may search their deck for a card and add it to their hand. If they do, they must shuffle their deck. Really good to get stuff specifically to decks. Again, ranger of your choice, so that's any ranger. Counter jab, 0 energy cost. Attack is 1 dice plus 1 damage. That means you get whatever rolls on 1 dice plus an additional damage. So that's pretty nice because you at least get guaranteed hit. But you could use Jason's, effects to re-roll if you really wanted to. The star here means that when it's revealed for defense, there's a special effect. This one is, if this card is revealed for defense, deal 1 damage to an enemy card of your choice. Really handy if you do decide to take the hit. That shows up. Boom, damage. Tactical Strike, attack 2 dice. After you play this card, place it on top of your deck instead of discarding it. Really nice and simple. You get to throw 2 dice out without having to worry about spending any energy, and you're guaranteed to have 2 shields there. Mighty Maces, 1 energy cost, 3 dice attack. The star for the defense effect is, if this card is revealed for defense, gain 1 energy. Really nice. 3 shields and you gain an energy. That's pretty handy. And a super, Power Lance, 3 energy cost, 4 dice attack. After you play this card, place it on top of your deck instead of discarding it. Instantly 3 shields. A lot of it is just take damage and just keep on trucking. That's Billy.
Saber-tooth tiger!
Next up, we have the Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger, Trini Quan. Trini's deck is all about light attacks that can be dealt multiple times. Many of her cards have options to attack twice, which works in tandem with her effect. Now, Trini's specific effect is the Double Strike. Now, the Double Strike is once per battle after you play a card, you may immediately play another card with the same name. That works out well considering Blade Blaster and Power Daggers are the only 2 cards that are unique in her deck. Everything else is duplicated. So because of that, you have a lot of options to use this, which is pretty nice. And then also you have the Saber-tooth Tiger, which is exhaust this card during a battle to allow each participating ranger to draw up to 2 cards. You had a 5-person battle. That allows for extra drawing, because sometimes when you're in a long battle against a boss or a monster, you start running out of cards. It's just a natural thing that happens. First up, Blade Blaster, now in yellow. Next up, Precision Strike, 0 cost, attack 2 damage, instantly 2 damage. Pretty nice. After you play this card, you may spend 1 energy to shuffle it back into your deck instead of discarding it. That can also be good for keeping that in the rotation, so that's an instant 2 damage. And with their effect, you might be able to play it twice. Tenacity, maneuver, gain 1 energy, choose 2 cards from your discard pile and put them to the top of your deck in any order. Pretty straightforward. Twin Fang Teamwork, 0 cost, reaction. Play this card after another ranger resolves an attack to deal 1 damage to that target of the attack. Really handy if you have a ranger who's dealt 3 damage to a 4 health card and you just want to get that last one out. Boom, Twin Fang Teamwork. Right there for you. Her 1 energy cost card is the Saber-tooth Strike. A 2 dice attack that if this attack defeats the target, may immediately perform a second attack with 2 dice. So that does mean that you do roll dice again. It's not the same 2 dice, but you get to do a second dice attack. That's really nice. Plus, you could double it with the Double Strike and make it a 4 dice, or 4 2 dice attacks that way. Her 3 energy cost is Power Daggers, and that is 4 dice. After you resolve this attack, a ranger of your choice may immediately play 1 card. Really nice for supporting your teammates and getting stuff done. That's Trini. Our last ranger is the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger, Kimberly and Hart. Kim's deck is mostly made up from cards that can gain energy as a result of attacking. The other cards are high dice attacks that can also ignore the guard keyword. The guard keyword is when you're fighting monsters, some cards will say guard, which means you can only attack them and not any other adjacent cards. So first up, character effect, quick shot. At the start of each battle, you may deal 1 damage to each enemy card of your choice. To an enemy card of your choice. So just instantly 1 damage. Start of the battle. No big deal. Just throwing energy out. Pterodactyl. Exhaust this card during a battle to gain 2 energy. Really handy. That saves you some action if you want some more energy. Really cool card overall. Blade Blaster. Now in the color pink. Acrobatics. 0 cost. Reaction. Play this card when you reveal a card for defense to add the reveal card to your hand instead of discarding it or placing it on the bottom of your deck. Super nice. Suddenly you see a card that you really like, and you're like, oh no, I don't want to lose it, so you play this instead, which actually works out pretty good. Next one is a 0 energy maneuver, take aim. Gain 1 energy, immediately play another card. If it's an attack, you may re-roll any number of dice during that attack. Really nice, actually. If you reveal something like, especially like arrow shot, which is 3 dice, or even better if you pull power bow, that could be pretty good. Flying kick, 0 cost, 2 dice attack, gain 1 energy. Pretty straightforward overall. Then we got arrow shot. Arrow shot is a 1 energy cost, 3 dice attack, and you can ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target. That's pretty awesome because that means you can just take out something that may work out for you with your roll. And then power bow, 3 energy cost, 6 dice attack. It's like one of the highest dice rolls in the game. Ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target for this attack. So those 6 dice really work out for you. You can be taking down a monster. So that's Kimberly, and that's our Rangers. Before we leave, this is what the back of the cards look like. Not many people show this online. It's just, it's very simple, but it's very nice, and I like it. I like it a lot. Before we finish the Ranger section of the video, we gotta look at the Megazord. The Megazord's summoned after all 5 Zords are summoned, and you get this nice little card. Dino Megazord. Exhaust this card to place the Megazord token in any location. At the start of each battle in the Megazord's current location, deal 1 damage to each enemy card. It's super handy against bosses and super handy against monsters. You just throw out some energy like that, and here's the token, which of course you just put in the location of your choice. So really awesome overall.